So I was drawing this little comic, as you see here, about Tabitha from New Vegas. I was working on one about Raul the Ghoul because I think it's kind of funny how when you do his quest, you just sort of go, "Hi mate," in his little shack, and he's just like, "Can I come with you?" And that's it. And it just got me thinking about how Black Mountain isn't necessarily one of my favorite areas in New Vegas. However, I can still talk about it a stupid amount just because of how much weird and like the weird amount of care that goes into everything in New Vegas. In particular, what got me thinking was the interaction you have with Neil at the base of the mountain, because well, for a number of reasons it gets my noggin jogging. Now this is a touchy subject because every time I make a video about Fallout 3, everyone always goes like, "Oh yeah, Fallout 3 has the worst writing ever." But you know, because I quite like Fallout 3. I'm not quite fanboy level. I do feel like New Vegas is definitely the one I sort of prefer. But one thing I will agree that Fallout 3 and 4 do wrong is the way Bethesda handles super mutants, because Bethesda sort of treats super mutants like orcs for the most part. They're just sort of these, for the most part, nebulously evil entities that are evil for the sake of being evil. And it's the thing I love about the interaction with Neil so much. So you can discover Black Mountain pretty early on, you can just walk up. And the thing I like about it is that Neil will sort of jog up to you and you sort of think, "Oh shit," because if you've just played Fallout 3, you're used to like seeing these guys and thinking, "Oh shit, here we go again." And to my knowledge in Fallout 3, there are only 2 friendly super mutants, which are Forks and Uncle Leo. So odds are you see a super mutant, you'll think, "Oh yeah, he's gonna come punch me in the face." I love that he just walks up to you and he's like, "Hey mate, you know, dangerous up here, don't go up there. There's a big blue or green or whatever color they are, because colorblind, sorry. Big fat meanies at the top of the tower, just broadcasting a little radio message out to the world, telling the mutants, "Hey, let's all go smush the humans." That'd be really funny, wouldn't it? And already I'm like slightly confused, because it would be like if you walked with like a raider base and just Shaggy Steve comes out and goes, "Oh yeah, don't go in there." But I love that Neil is there to basically be all like, if you've just played Fallout 3, this is real Fallout. These guys are these mutants, they're not just orcs, they actually have opinions. I mean, they're still pretty mad and they're probably gonna try smush you, but still, you can have this lovely little interaction with him where he goes like, "We're not all big, green, ugly, and dumb." And you can go, "I thought you all were, haha." And he just sort of like, "What the fuck, man?" And you can go like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro." And he's like, "Well, since you apologized, I guess I'll forgive you." I love the idea that Neil is sort of like slightly holding back his anger. I mean, he must get this sort of shit a lot. But I love that he knows he can't just be aggressive and like beat the shit out of anyone who's slightly mean to him, because it'll only cause more of this like, if he beats someone up and go, "Hey, there's a big green ogre over there, let's all go murder him." And I imagine that causes more problems than just going, "Oh my god, this fucking idiot." Neil is literally that old Arthur meme where he like clenches his fist and goes, "Ugh, when normals say you're dumb." So after Neil has his little tantrum, you can ask him what's going on, and he'll be all, "Well, we used to have this cool kids club for super mutants up on that mountain, but over time Tabitha started being like, 'Hey, you guys remember the Master? That was pretty cool. We should like get a new one, that'd be great.' And she kicked all the regional super mutants out, and they went to make their own Black Mountain with blackjack and hookers. So Neil's just there to basically point the ones who aren't crazy over to the new place so they don't get indoctrinated into a weird little army." Which always makes me laugh, because I love how Tabitha is essentially just the Fallout universe's version of Alex Jones. Like, she sits on a little tower doing a little radio show being all like, "Hey guys, let's like do an insurrection, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?" So you can say to Neil, "Hey, let's do a little insurrection of our own." And the crazy bastard actually agrees with you, which I always thought was a bit strange. But I guess he's kind of tired of Tabitha's shit, because what she's doing is she's causing super mutants to go and attack people in the surrounding areas, which probably doesn't like make people like him very much. I guess it's like if there was a guy doing a radio station about how, "Oh, it's great having an eye patch. Eye patches are fucking great." And he was making all the eye patch people go out and attack people. So people see you've got an eye patch and they're like, "Hey, he's one of them, get him." I don't think I'd be too happy with this either. So I see his point. That highly regarded idea aside, Neil just sort of pieces out and I was like, "Hey, G, see, at the top of the mountain." And this is how the game shows you the other way mutants are different in Fallout New Vegas versus 3. Because from my memory, I don't think mutants have that charge attack in 3. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I could have sworn they couldn't. Because these fuckers, they get right in your face. They run at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. These guys are what I'd imagine Sonic would look like if he was actually accurate to real life. Not that like 3-foot tall one from the movie. No, you'd have him with like his hulking legs sprinting at you. Now I'm imagining the ultimate universe where Sonic, instead of being a little blue hedgehog, he's like just the Hulk but blue. I don't know if that would catch on as heavily with DeviantArt kids, but I know if I was Robotnik and my rival was basically this big wall of flesh that could move at the speed of sound, I would just give up right there. I'd be like, ruling the world isn't worth this. He's gonna pummel my face in at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And with about 2 million joules of force for every punch because his hands are the size of fridges. It's a really good thing that I usually specialize in shotguns, because if I didn't have like on-demand knockback, I would be getting my ass handed to me, because I am dog shit at range. I cannot shoot for shit. In any game where it's like, okay, you can be the close range one or the long range one, I'm like, no, I'm not even gonna bother. I will miss 90% of shots, I guarantee you. Like, if the enemy is not in my face, there will be a bullet in mine. So you can either do it this way, by fighting all the mutants, or you can go up the secret secondary path that has like a giant boulder you've got to run away from, Indiana Jones style. But I'm gonna be honest, I'd rather fight the living boulders I can pump full of lead, rather than the indestructible rock boulder that I just can't fight. It's just gonna murder me instantly. I know, skill issue. I'm sorry, I suck. Listen, I draw the funny cartoon men. I never said I was good at these games. So you catch up to Pappy Neil at the top, and he sort of goes, now what? And you got a couple of things you can do. You can go full frontal, or my favorite option, Neil will just go, hey guys, there's a human down at the bottom, and they'll all go, oh, murder, and they'll all just kind of follow him down. They all go in a little line like a row of duckies that got into the protein powder. This will leave Tabitha's little radio shack unguarded, so you could just sort of like get in there and bash her head in as you do. As you can probably see in the drawing, that's what I chose to do. I say bash her head in, she's clearly decapitated, never mind. I'm not actually sure what point of the video the drawing's at, but wow, look at me go, aren't I drawing quickly? Another funny thing you can do is there's a radio down beneath a crashed satellite dish that you can go on, and it for some reason is wired directly into Tabitha's broadcast, so you can go hiya into it and she'll go, oi mate, you interrupted my broadcast, what the fuck? Which is funny for a number of reasons, because if you don't have enough stats, Tabitha basically tells her guards to come and get you, which sort of blows your cover. Or if you've got a high enough speech stat, you can pretend to be a dumb super mutant saying, the dummies are taking over, we will defeat you, Tabitha, and she just starts a mini civil war right there and then. I really wish there was an option just to disconnect her. That would be really funny, so Tabitha's just rambling into a microphone to herself for all eternity. Sort of like when you take Mr. House out of his little pod and you can just disconnect him, so he's just sat there for the next year until he dies of AIDS or whatever. There's also something in this area that I really like. So my issue with unique weapons is so many of them are just sort of held by the gun runners, but one of them is actually given to one of the super mutants, which is, it's got its ups and its downs. Number one, it's really cool that like an enemy can actually use one of these super powerful unique weapons against you instead of just finding it in some box somewhere. Number two, it's just more of a story saying like, oh, this is the unique battle axe. I won this off of Gwaltar the Destroyer. It took many hours of combat. I died several times, but eventually I was victorious and claimed the axe in my name. Instead of just being like, right from the Vendatron, innit? The only problem with this is the unique rocket launcher the mutant has, if you kill him and then don't pick up quick enough, it eventually despawns, meaning you can basically never get it again. I don't think it even shows up at the Vendatron, and you know, I made fun of it like literally 5 seconds ago, but I like the Vendatron as like a backup if you miss things. So if you kill Gwaltar the Destroyer and his axe falls down like a storm drain, you can still pick it up later, because I guess the Vendatron's just... He just has his hands in every pie, you can just get a hold of it. Maybe some other chuckle fucker like found it and just sold it to the Vendatron not knowing what it was or something, I don't know. Besides that, dealing with Tabitha is pretty simple. You either, you know, the aforementioned head doming in. You can go free her pet slave or her pet robot. And I'll get back to the robot, but by free, I mean free it from disrepair. But yeah, like I mentioned at the start, she's got a slave called Raul that you can take as a companion that she sort of keeps as her little repair monkey, basically. Freeing him basically means Tabitha has a little tantrum and you gotta kind of put her down, just because when Hulk tries to slap you in the face for stealing her slave, you sort of got to do something about it. This is the ending I got the first time I played because I was just sort of poking around before I went into the main building. And there's a really easy way to break into his cell if you just read one of the terminals, because the password is written right there. And I didn't even know. I was still trying to find my way into her thing. So I was like, oh, what's in here? Maybe the secret's in here to getting into Tabitha's secret recording bunker. Now, the third way to solve this quest is probably the most disturbing in my mind. Not necessarily for what you do, but kind of the implications of it. So Tabitha has this little Mr. Handy companion called Ronda. And Ronda breaks down one day, as they tend to do. And this sends Tabitha into complete hysterics, and Tabitha just can't cope without Ronda. So you can find Ronda broken down in a shed, and if you repair her, Tabitha immediately runs out, is happy that Ronda's fixed, thanks you, and then just loses interest in this whole master thing and just walks off. Now, like with a lot of things in New Vegas, the first time I played this, I was like, oh, that's sweet, I did the good ending. But actually, thinking about this, it is extremely disturbing because, you know, Tabitha likes to make it out like, oh, you know, the master, we should have our super mutant power back, we are the best, we should smush all the humans. But knowing that she only really cared when she didn't have Ronda makes me wonder if this was just some like bizarre mental breakdown or sociopathic plea for like control or something. Like her little robot companion gets broken, so this somehow sends her into like a murderous rage, which somehow makes her incredibly charismatic for some reason, allowing her to just casually raise an army to harass small towns and basically start a whole revolution. Not only that, but there is no indication that she understands the errors of her ways or that she's reformed in any way. She just kind of walks off scot-free for no reason. It's like, yeah, let's ignore all the murder you did and, you know, all the deaths you led to because you made the mutants go nuts, basically. But, oh yeah, you know, Tabitha's happy. Tabitha can walk off. Let's ignore everything else. Oh, and the slavery to Raul. She did sort of like keep Raul in a cage for a fair amount of time. That was a whole thing. And, you know, so one of the endings, if you do this, is it says Tabitha and Ronda go east and their adventures are turned into children's books that are popular in the NCR. So not only this, but she also becomes a celebrity after you've helped her out. And who's to say this isn't going to happen again? Next time some random chuckle fuck with a shotgun comes along and blasts one of Ronda's eyes out. You know, is this whole thing going to start up again? Are we going to have Black Mountain 2.0? I actually don't think it's ethical to leave Tabitha alive because she's clearly shown she's very easily able to whip the mutants into a murderous frenzy. And, you know, this is going to happen again. Ronda is not going to last forever. And next time, you know, this happens, there's not going to be a helpful courier around to just, you know, put her back together. Now, I don't know if this is like a controversial Fallout take or anything, but like, I feel like most of the super mutants in this game don't really, like, they shouldn't be kept about. It's like that quest where you're in the Repcon building and you've got all the, like, the invisible guys in the basement. I'm like, is it really a good idea to have like a gang of invisible Incredible Hulks running around the wasteland just breaking shit just because they want their little stealth boys? I could honestly go on all day about the weird state of super mutants in this series, but that is a story for another day. Or, yeah, another week. But yeah, this video's probably gone on for way too long now. I can feel some of you falling asleep reaching for that click off button. But yeah, thanks for listening to my insane ramblings about super mutants. The channel's grown pretty considerably since the last time I did one of these videos. So that's pretty poggaroonies. I've done enough of these that I've got a playlist of these now. So if you want to listen to more of my insane ramblings, there it is. Besides that, do the like, comment, subscribe thingy. Comment, you want to give Tabitha a big kissy if you made it this far in. But thanks and goodbye.